Hey guys, we are in the studio with Ira Sylvester today, and we're going to be talking to you today about things in Denmark that just make sense.
Yeah, and one of the first things that just makes sense, I didn't even know it existed until we moved here, is the single duvet. Now, I don't know what you have in the UK. In the US, generally it's a shared comforter, so if you're two in a bed, all you're doing is hogging the sheets from each other the entire time. The single duvet, I think, saved a relationship.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Me and my partner were very, very cuddly, or at least I'm very, very clingy. When we've got like two, it's like I'll be under mine and she'll be under hers, and then like through the night I'll like kind of try and get under hers, and then we're both like lying there underneath that. But I've got a double one because in the UK that's the most common.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like when I put that on the bed, she's just like, "Oh, to be fair, this is pretty nice because now we can like kind of
Cuddle
there's not
under.
like a gap in between."
Yeah.
Because to me it kind of feels like you've pushed two beds together.
Yes.
And then like I'm falling between the gap, so to speak, of the covers.
Wow, maybe we're just revealing too much about ourselves here, but yeah, I love the single duvet. I remember the first time that we came to Denmark and stayed at a hotel, and I just remember thinking like, how does this work? What do I do?
Right.
Can I get there's two small duvets? What do I do? And then I slowly was like, this just makes sense. It's great.
To be fair, it is quite nice. Like, as much as I'm bitching and moaning, it's just like when I'm either not single, but like it's just me and my girlfriend are very, very like attached at the hip.
I get that.
But it's quite nice having your own one, just so you can like roll over. You don't have to worry about pulling the blanket off of there.
Or disturbing. Like if like one gets up, like it's like you don't disturb the other person kind of moving around. I agree.
I think another thing that just kind of makes sense in Denmark that I particularly love is that Fridays are always celebrated. Like Fridays are always special, and
100%.
you know it's from the time you're a kid. You've got the candy on Friday. Maybe you have like a sweet breakfast. Then as an adult, you kind of do the same thing where maybe there's cake at the canteen at work, or if you don't work in an office with a canteen and that kind of thing, then you at least have like a Friday beer with your colleagues at maybe once a month or something. It's so nice.
I like the fact they've got that whole Little Thursday concept or Little Friday concept on the Thursday.
The Little Friday. I love Little Friday. Yeah.
I think that's kind of cool. It's just like, that means you get to celebrate, like you like relax in the evening on Thursday, you relax in the evening on Friday, you relax in the evening on Saturday, Sunday, and then like you basically only have to deal with Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday.
Right.
And like considering I work shift work and I'm a comedian, I'm usually drunk on those days too. So it does mean I'm drunk most days. But it's fine. It's part of the culture.
And I love how in Denmark, like, to kind of justify the, you can drink any night of the week is to, Little Friday. It's just a way to say, like, we're getting drunk on Thursday as well. But no, it's a Little Friday. It's cute.
And have you heard of Little Friday? Wednesday.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can just keep walking back and then suddenly you're just back to Friday again.
Yeah, Little Friday. I like that. Yeah. But it is so great to celebrate Friday because it's like I did achieve something. And it also does help you with that moderation. Like I'm not going to have candy on Wednesday. Okay, I might. But I'm definitely going to have it on Friday. And you have something to look forward to. And then you can feel like, yeah, it's special.
And that is also a sign of addiction that like even when you're not using something, you're like, yeah, but I'm going to use it. And that's how I get my fix, you know?
Yes.
What gets you through the week?
But that's fine.
That's fine. You got to Friday, you celebrate it, you deserved it.
Yeah,
we all
exactly.
did. We all did. Another thing that just makes sense is, I mean, I know there's a million apps, but it all works. And like the NMID just works. And the EBox just works. Like it's nice having all that stuff just work. It lands in there. You know, if it's important, it's going to be in your EBox. You're going to have to copy, paste it, and Google Translate it, but whatever, like, or ignore it. It's all whatever.
It's really easy to ignore.
It's really easy to ignore. It's like, it's probably important. It's probably going to stress me out. I'm probably going to ignore it.
But nothing's highlighted in red, so it can't be that bad.
Exactly.
You know?
Right. They'll send me another notice. They'll send me something in the mail if I really, really screwed up.
That's the best thing about being international as well. It's like if you really, really screw up, you can just leave.
Right.
What are you going to do? Come to London.
I mean, preferably it doesn't ever get to that, but you know, there's always it's good to have a backup plan.
Yeah.
I do remember when we were looking to buy our flat, we met with like a banker and like he gave us very bad like offer and everything else, and he's like, well, it's because if things go to crap, you're just going to leave. And it's like, well, I guess you're right.
I guess
that's always true though, you know? Like it doesn't matter if you're international or not. Like if things go,
you can always leave.
You can flee the country. It's not like that's what being a refugee is.
Right.
Hey, that's fine.
But EBox is nice because you do have a place and it's all
day and all that kind of stuff.
And when I
it's
explain
nice that you just log
all
in.
right there, you go with it. Like it's
when I explain it to people, I'm like, yeah, it's like having a national email.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about like, oh, I didn't get that. They didn't send me this. I didn't know about this thing happening. It's like, no, it's there. I mean, yeah, sometimes we ignore it or make plans to flee the country, but we can have a record of everything that we need to know.
It's kind of useful for things like just going to the pharmacy if you need to get like your prescriptions for things. It's like it's all the same system. So it's just like, oh yeah, just log into your MITI day. Boom.
Done.
Yep.
The problem is when you first move here and you don't have
it's awful.
Nothing works. Like
Nothing
you
works.
can't do anything.
Don't exist. I mean, it took you 4 months to get your CPR number, and you basically were an unperson. Like,
yeah. It was. It's tough not existing here, but once you do exist and you're in the system, it works. It works splendidly, and it just makes sense. Yeah. Another one is that really just makes sense, but does take a little bit of time. Is the bike infrastructure is really great. You know, once you get a bike, once you cycle, and you can do that even without an MID.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm sure you can probably get a bike with your MID. And actually, I do think if you buy like a proper bike, you can have it registered underneath your CPR number. So if it does go missing and then the police find it, they can just be like, oh, it belongs to Harold,
right,
or whatever. Yeah, I used to cycle to school and I lived in the UK, and I have been hit by 3 cars and 1 bus. And that's just going like a 20-minute cycle.
Sorry for laughing at that.
No,
I didn't expect you to say that.
Well, this is the thing. It's like, because London's not really like built for it. And then like, what's weird is that you'll get places in London where like you'll have a cycle path that is all of 15 meters. So it just leads from traffic into more traffic.
Yes.
Why do you have this 15 meter, like, where are you going? Like, it's you can see the end of it. Like, if you can see the end of the path, that's not a designated area. That's just a parking space that no one's using.
Correct.
Like,
Philadelphia does that too, where like they're like, oh, this is a bike lane. I'm like, no, you just painted a blue stripe. Like, there's that cars drive over.
Yeah, exactly.
Like when we lived in Philly, I would bike to the office, and like my office moved to a new location that suddenly there wasn't like a dedicated bike path, and like I biked twice. Almost got run over by cars both times. I was like, you know what? The bus will do.
Also, it's just great, like a nice little bit of exercise. Yes. It's kind of cool, except for when it's raining.
Right.
Which is most of the year. But like during summer,
it's fantastic.
Like, get your thighs out, your thighs out.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's nice.
And it justifies the extra beer that you're having on Little Free Day because you did bike there.
Exactly. So and then you've also, like, although I have done that where I've gotten, I shouldn't admit this because this is illegal, because you can get drunk driving on a bicycle.
Oh, yeah.
But like, just when you're like, when you've had a few too many and you're trying to like cycle back, and I mean like, you're just fighting to stay on the bike. You're just like, I can't move any closer or further away from the pavement. If there is a bus behind me, they will have to wait because this is as fast as I go.
This is how I'm going.
I will not, if I have one drink, I will take the metro, the bus. I will.
It's smart.
If I need, I'm so petrified of falling off a bike because
that's the smart thing to do. Just make sure that you're not drinking around rush hour time, because when the trains are packed and you see some absolute try and get on with a bike.
Oh, it's awful.
When it's just like, it is
like,
so
what
packed.
Are you doing?
There is not, you've literally got a bike, cycle there. Like,
right. You're doing this wrong.
I don't think you understand how modes of transport work.
Right. You have one.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I can understand it with parents with their babies, because I mean, like, I guess you could kind of ride a stroller like a skateboard, but like,
only downhill, and there's no hills. So
exactly. There's no hills.
So you're screwed.
There's no hills.
Yeah. So great for biking.
Yeah.
Bad for rolling your
kids. And speaking of rolling your kids, so one of the other things that just makes sense here is the common schools calendar. Now, we don't have kids, but what is nice is that we know. But what is nice is that we also know what weekends we are not going to leave, because the tickets will be super expensive, and it just helps us just know that this is where the schedule is going to be. You avoid it. You know when your coworkers are going to be off. Like, it just makes sense. In the U.S., every school has different time. I'm not sure what the U.K. is, if everyone's got kind of different.
It's pretty much the same, because you've got like half term, and I think it's pretty much it's standardized across the UK. But you also got to understand that the UK is not as big as the US.
Sure.
You know, it'd be like one state would be like, if they've got standardized times of the year, that's not that big a deal. Whereas it's not like the UK and France like lined up their schedule.
Sure.
Even though we're probably closer than, well, we're literally closer than like New York and LA.
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely.
It is. That is true, and I think like the climate plays a little bit of a role into it, because you're not necessarily going to start at the same time or let out at the same time, depending on how hot it is in different places. But still, like, it could be in the same state, like in Pennsylvania where we're from, like the next school over would have a completely different schedule than us.
Yep.
That's really annoying.
And you go back on this day. Oh, I don't go back until this day. Oh, you have your spring break on the
that actually just sounds like a failing of America as opposed to something we're doing well here.
Could be, sorry. I'm not wrong.
You're saying that's a pattern? Yeah. But and that was quite direct, which brings us to another thing that I think is quite nice here and does just kind of make sense. It's just saying exactly what you think.
Yeah, I think I have kind of learned that from being
picked that
in
up too.
Denmark.
Absolutely.
It's just, you just say things because like sometimes it's like really, not like mean. Like my ex used to do this all the time where she'd just be like, your breath really smells right now. And I'm just like, there is nothing I can do with that information. We're on a bus. Like,
Not helping.
yeah, but it's like, at the same time, it's like if she doesn't tell me, then I can't fix it.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, at the same time, if I can't fix it, don't tell me. But like, yeah, I mean, it's also nice. You don't have to guess because like the British, and I think, I'm not sure if Americans are necessarily like this, but I know that we talk around the
Yes.
subject
Yes.
so much. Like if you go to someone and say, oh, how's the weather today? Be like, oh, you know, it's not too bad. It's like what you're really asking is like, how are things? Here it's just kind of like, yeah, say what you want.
Yep.
Say what you mean.
Oh, you see it in emails especially too, where like, you know, the emails that I send now are like 3 lines. And it's just so simple. I don't have to do all the pleasantries of an
I
American email.
hope this email finds you well. How's the weather
Yeah.
been? It has been unseasonably
You know
warm.
how it found me? At my damn computer trying to
Right.
figure out like this problem. Just give me the 3 things I need to know.
And speaking of the work email, something I do that just makes sense here, and it makes sense given the history, is everyone has to have a unique middle name. And it makes sense in a country where everyone's name is like Martin Jensen. But I can say as somebody who has in America, a very common first name and a pretty common last name, where like I went to high school and I had another kid with the same exact name as me. I went to uni and had like 6 other people with the same exact name. Like it's funny how like my middle name shows up for everything. It just makes sense that it's a way to just differentiate everyone. And I could have used that in my upbringing as well.
To be honest, so I work in a suit store by day, and that whole name thing gets on my nerves so bad. Because Danes don't know when to use their middle name or their last name because they don't understand the concept of a middle name. Because your first name, for example, is like Derek or Mike. If like my middle name is Sylvester, and so my stage name is Ira Sylvester, but in that case, it's my new last name. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if someone goes like, if I say to a Danish person, so your name's Jens, and what's your last name? And they'll go like, Martin. So I'm downstairs trying to find their suit under their last name, which is Martin. And I'm down there for like 5 minutes, but like, there is nothing here for a Jens Martin. So I'll go back upstairs and I'll go, have you got any other names? He goes, oh yeah, my last name's Pilsen. I'm just like, my guy, when I asked for your last name, that's what I was asking about. And then like sometimes they'll do it in reverse. So like I'll ask for their first and last name and they'll give me their last name. But when they signed up and like got their suit in the first name, they were like, oh no, it's Jens Martin. So like I'm looking down for Pilsen and it's actually under Martin. And it's just like, my guy, you've got a first name, you've got a middle name, you've got a last name. Your first name is not, for example, I'm not sure if she might. Well, I'm gonna have to say this because it also leads into a joke that I found out. My girlfriend's name is Liu Jasmine. So like, her first name is Liu. Her middle name is Jasmine. She thinks that her first name is Liu Jasmine. It's not. Her first name is Liu, which also it's add an E and it's Live Jasmine, which I'm not sure.
Oh,
That's a phenomenal stage name.
Yes, I'm aware of that website.
Which I think is hilarious. But like, if someone goes like, "What's your first name?" She doesn't go Liu Jasmine. She goes Liu. There is a list of legal first names that you can have.
Yes.
So I understand why they used a combination to make it more unique.
More unique because
But they don't know how to use this in an English-speaking context.
Right.
In terms of, all right, but this is not that you've got a first name, then you've got a last name, middle name, and then you've got your thing, and they haven't quite worked out how that translates, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And in their defense, I mean, we're only like a century into having a common last name and just saying son of Jens, son of Martin, son of Jakob. Like
Yeah.
it's evolving.
Yeah, and in fact, this whole naming thing is something that really surprises us. We found to be kind of a crazy fact about Denmark. And we have a video that you can watch right here of 7 crazy facts about Denmark, including the naming law and all of the things that have to do with names. And you can watch it right here. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Hi.